皆さんおはようございます。Thank you for joining me today. This is the Easy Japanese News article for March 10th, 2026. 2026年3月10日の今日の記事でございます。So for our headline today, we have パスポートを作るときに払うお金が安くなりそう。Okay, and here is our vocabulary list from the headline. We have パスポート, a passport. 作る to create or to make. 払う is to pay. お金 is money. And 安い is inexpensive. Okay, so for today we have a grammar point in the headline. So for our grammar point today, we are going back to naru and suru. So naru and suru can kind of be thought of as a pair. Pretty much anywhere you can find a naru in a sentence, you can also have a suru. So naru means for something to become a certain way or when something happens a certain way. And suru is kind of its partner in that that's what we use when we make something happen or someone makes something happen. So if we have like an e adjective, we drop the e and then ku, then naru or ku suru. And if we have a na adjective or a noun, we will use ni with ni naru or ni suru. So let's look at some examples to kind of see how this works. So 絶対に日本一にするから。So this could be found in some anime or something like that. So 絶対に absolutely, when you're convinced you're going to do something or that something will happen, you can use 絶対に. And then 日本一 or 日本一 be number one in Japan. 日本一にする. Okay, so 日本一 would be a noun, the best in Japan or the number one in Japan. にする. So this is not になる. This is not I am going to become the number one in Japan. Someone is making someone else number one in Japan. So 日本一にするから. They are making them number one. And the から is giving them a reason. Like, don't you worry about it because I'm going to make you the best in Japan or number one. Okay. Then we have 彼女はいつも元気にしてくれる. So here we have a na adjective with 元気. So 彼女は彼女 her or she. And は that's our main idea in this sentence. いつも is always. Genki can have several different meanings, but here it can be considered something like happy. And then we have 元気にする. So someone is making someone else happy or feel good. And then we have する in the te form followed by くれる, which is someone is being kind, doing you a favor. We can use てくれる for that. So 彼女はいつも元気にしてくれる. She always makes me happy. And our final one, we have 砂糖を入れないと美味しくなりませんよ. So we've had two surus here. Now we have a naru. So 砂糖 is going to be sugar. 砂糖を we're doing something to it. 砂糖を入れる. So 入れる is to put something in. We have that in the negative here. So 入れない don't put in sugar. And then と so と can kind of be considered upon doing this or if this happens. Very commonly found with the negative, like you have to do this. So if you don't put in the sugar, 砂糖入れないと美味しくなりませんよ. So 美味しい is an e adjective. So when we use e adjectives, in order to attach a naru or a suru, we have to drop the e. So 美味しい goes to 美味しく. And then we would add our naru or our suru. And here we're using naru. And then we put that in the negative mas form. 美味しくなりませんよ. And that yo is telling someone information they need to know or you think is important. Kind of putting a little emphasis there. So 砂糖入れないと美味しくなりませんよ. It won't be any good unless you add the sugar. Okay, so jumping back into our headline, we have パスポートを作るときに払うお金が安くなりそう. So first we have パスポート, which is passport. So パスポートを we have our particle を There's going to be a verb that we are doing to our passport. パスポートを作る So 作る to make or create a passport. 時に So 時 being when or time when. And the time when we make our passport or you get a passport. That's how we'd say it in English. But in Japanese, パスポートを作る時に at that time. 払う So 払う to pay. So the pay when you make a passport. お金 So this is all describing the お金 here. The money we're talking about. So the money that you pay when making a passport. が It's going to do something or be something. 安くなりそう So this is 安い which is an e adjective. And we are taking that e, dropping it off, putting a ku here so we can connect it to naru. And then naru is also conjugated to attach a so. But yasuku naru would be become cheaper or become less expensive. And then this so here means it seems like that is going to be the case. So it seems like the money that you have to pay when getting or creating a passport will become cheaper. パスポートを作るときに払うお金が安くなりそう。Okay, so here is our vocab list from the rest of the article. We have 旅行, which is travel or trip. 外国, which is a foreign country. 必要 or 必要な is necessary or required. 政府 is the government. 法律 is law. 変える is to change. 使う is to use. 以上 we normally have this attached after a noun or a number to mean more than blank or blank or more. So something 以上 you could put it after a number. 3以上 greater than 3. Okay, then we have by, which is case or situation, or depending on what it's attached to, we can kind of translate it as when in the case that this happens or when this happens. We have 予定, which is a plan or a schedule, and 国会, which is the national diet or parliament, kind of like the Japanese Congress is what that would be. 国会。
旅行や仕事で外国に行くときにはパスポートが必要です。政府は法律を変えてパスポートを作るときに払うお金を今までより安くしたいと考えています。10年使うことができるものを今より7,000円安い9,000円ぐらいにするつもりです。18歳以上の場合、今は5年使うことができるものもありますが、10年のものだけになります。政府はパスポートを作る時のお金を安くして外国に行きやすくしたいと考えています。今の国会で法律が変わると7月1日から安くなる予定です。
じゃあ読んでいきましょう。
旅行や仕事で外国に行くときにはパスポートが必要です。
Okay, so we have 旅行や仕事。So 旅行 is travel. や is how we say and non-exclusively. So 仕事 is work. So travel, work, and the like. That's what that や does. で by means of or for travel, work, and the like. 外国に行く so 外国 foreign country に to and iku, going. So going to foreign country for travel or work. And all of this is describing toki, which is our time or when. So toki. 旅行や仕事で外国に行く時には So this toki is when we go to foreign countries for travel or work. Niwa is at those times. And that's our main idea here with the wa. Passporto, passport. Ga, it is going to do something or be something. And it is being hitsuyo desu. So hitsuyo is necessary. So when going to foreign countries for travel or work, passports are necessary. And then we have our des as our is, right? Or are necessary.
政府は法律を変えて、パスポートを作るときに払うお金を今までより安くしたいと考えています。
Okay, so this sentence is a little confusing, but let's break it down. So we got 政府は So seifu is the government. Wa tells us that's our main idea in this sentence. 法律を変えて So 法律 is the laws. O, something is being done to the laws. 変えて So 変える is to change. And then this is in the te form. So change the laws and something else. 法律を変えてパスポートを作るSo passport を作る to make passport. And then パスポートを作るとき So when making a passport 時に At those times when you make a passport 払う is to pay. And that is all modifying お金 which is money. So money paid when you make a passport or something is going to be done to this money. 今まで Ima is now, made is up to, so up to now or up to the current point. And then yori is more. And then we have yasuku shitai. So this comes from yasuku suru, which comes from yasui, an e adjective. And then we are using our grammar point of the day. Yasui is inexpensive or cheap, and then we are yasuku suru to make something inexpensive or cheap. And then we are taking that suru and changing it into shitai, the Thai form, to say want to do it. And then to kangaete imasu. So to tells us that the stuff before it is quoted. And then we have a verb that tells us what action we are doing to that quoting thing. So kangaete imasu is from kangaeru, to think, in the teimasu or teiru form, currently. So the government is currently thinking or considering changing the laws 法律を変えて and that they want to make money paid when making a passport or getting a passport cheaper than it has been. 今までより安くしたいと考えています。So that is what they are thinking.
10年使うことができるものを今より7000円安い9000円ぐらいにするつもりです。
Okay, so we have 10年 which is 10 years. 10年使う which is to use. And ことができる is something we can attach to a verb to say be able to do that verb. And then もの. So もの, this is an object, but it's referring back to passports. So in context, this もの means passports. So the passports that you can use for 10 years, or something is going to be done to those passports. 今より, so 今 is now, and then より is more than, so more than now. 7000円安い. So 7000円 is 7,000 yen. And then 安い is cheap. But when we have 安い along with より, that's going to be cheaper. So 今より7000円安い be 7,000 yen cheaper than currently. And then all of this is going to modify 9,000 yen ぐらい. So 9,000 yen is 9,000 yen, and ぐらい is around. So 9,000, around 9,000 yen, which is 7,000 yen cheaper than currently. Once again, we have ni suru from our grammar, which means we are making something to be something else. And that goes back to our o. So what are we making into something? Passports that you can use for 10 years. And we are making that 9,000 yen, or around 9,000 yen, which is 7,000 yen cheaper than currently. And then all of this is connected to tsumori desu at the end, and tsumori meaning intention. So they have the intent, or they plan on making the passport you can use for 10 years around 9,000 yen, which is 7,000 yen cheaper than currently.
18歳以上の場合、今は5年使うことができるものもありますが、10年のものだけになります。
Okay, so 18歳以上. So 18歳 is 18 years old. This sai is years old. You can add it to a number to mean years old. 18歳以上, and then 以上 attached to a number means or more or higher. So 18 years or older. No bai. So no, we use it to connect to bai, which is situation or circumstances or when. So for those who are 18 years or older, 今は, so 今 is now, what's our main idea in this next little section. 5年使うことができる. So 5年, 5 years. Once again, we have 使う with ことができる. So can use for 5 years. もの. So once again, this mono is referring to passports. So passports that you can use for 5 years. ものもあります. So あります is our exists, or there are these things. And then this mo tells us there are also these things, implying other things. So there are currently, 今は, there are also passports that you can use for 5 years. が, which means but. 10年のもの. So 10年のもの. Once again, もの is referring to passports. And 10年 is 10 year. So 10-year passports だけ. So only. になります. Once again, our grammar for the day. So instead of にする, we are になる. So this will become, not that anyone's making it this way, or at least that's not what we're focusing on in this sentence. So for those who are 18 years of age or older, currently there are passports that you can use for 5 years, but that in the future will be only those you can use for 10 years. There will only be 10-year passports in the future.
政府はパスポートを作る時のお金を安くして外国に行きやすくしたいと考えています。
Okay, so 政府は once again the government は main idea パスポートを作る and パスポートを作るとき we've been over this several times. So パスポートを作るとき when you make a passport のお金 so the money from when you make a passport or get a passport を安くして so here is our grammar of the day yet again 安くする to make something cheaper, and that's in the te form, so we are making something cheaper and something else is coming. 外国に so foreign countries 外国に to 行きやすい 行きやすい is easy to go to. This is a grammar that you can use to make a verb easy to do. So 行く goes to 行きやすい mean easy to go to, and then we are changing that 安い which is an e adjective once again into the grammar of the day 安くする And then that suru is being put in the Thai form yet again to say want to. So, and then we have the same と考えています. So they are thinking of or considering all of this, which is that と. And the government is thinking that they would like to make the money that you need when making or getting a passport cheaper so that it's easier to go to foreign countries. That is what they are thinking, right? 考えています。
今の国会で法律が変わると7月1日から安くなる予定です。
Okay. 今の、so 今 is now, 今の something from now, 今の国会で、国会 is the national diet, kind of like the Congress of Japan. So the current diet で、so in current national diet, Congress, whatever. 法律が変わる. So 法律 is going to be the laws が they're going to do something. 変わる is to change. 法律が変わると is to, if we attach it onto a verb, it means once this verb happens or if this verb happens. Here it's going to be once the law changes. So once the law changes in the current national diet, 7月1日. So 7月 is July and 1日 is the first. Kara is from or starting on a certain time. So 7月1日から from July 1st. 安くなる. Once again, our grammar of the day, we're not using suru, but 安くなる. 安い goes to 安くなる. Something is becoming cheap. And that is connected to 予定です. 予定 is plans. So, once the laws change in the national diet, in the current national diet, the prices for, and once again, this is all implied here. There is no mention of it here, but this implied thing is the パスポートを作る時のお金. So the money needed for getting a passport will become cheaper, or there are plans for it to become cheaper starting on July 1st. And that is it for our news of the day. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. If you have any Japanese questions in the article or outside of the article, please leave them in the comments below and let me know how your day is going. And I will plan on seeing you later in the week. Mata ne!